Bringing you the latest news from around the world and here at home, I'm Sandro Ferdinando, and here are your headlines for tonight.
Minister Ravi Karunanayake says a solution for the power crisis will be presented in Parliament on the 29th of this month. Nurses launch trade union action today. Who gives instructions beyond the authority of the Minister of Foreign Affairs? If a hybrid court is unconstitutional, how was the UNHRC resolution co-sponsored in 2015? Opposition questions the government.
Who influenced Sri Lanka in taking decisions at the United Nations Human Rights Council? Parliamentarian Vimal Weerawansa expressed these views at the Parliament today when the expenditure brief of the Foreign Affairs Ministry was taken up for debate.
Britain, who looted our lands, are trying to teach us human rights. Mano Tittawalla is a henchman of Chandrika in this foolish government. Although you are the Minister of Foreign Affairs, it is Mano Tittawalla who instructed the official representatives of Geneva to what decision to take. Who is Mano Tittawalla? He is a person who betrayed this country and earns money for himself through several deals. Can that betrayer take decisions regarding this country's foreign policies? If that smuggler gets money, he will do anything to change this foreign policy of this country. Do not let him decide that. Is he the person who controls the official representatives to Geneva from Sri Lanka? Who is he? You are the foreign minister. You have a respectable history in this country. How can your power be used by a normal person like Mano Tittawalla? Because effects of these acts will come out in 10 to 12 to 15 years' time. There won't be anyone who is responsible for those consequences by then. Patali Champika Ranawaka referred Ranil Wickremesinghe as the ghost of Don Juan Dharmapala. Now he who said that are the chief disciples of the ghost of Don Juan Dharmapala. I know that speech you prepared before. It is not what you are reading here now. In 2015, the government co-sponsored UNHRC Resolution 30/1, which commits Sri Lanka to establish a judicial mechanism with a special counsel to investigate allegations of violation and abuses of human rights and violations of international humanitarian law. It affirms a credible justice process that should include independent judicial and prosecutional institutions led by individuals known for their integrity and impartiality. However, in 2019, Foreign Minister, responding to the OHCHR report on Resolution 30/1 stated, quote, "The government of Sri Lanka cannot enforce a hybrid court system in accordance to the constitution of the country," unquote. However, the 2019 40/L resolution notes the country must commit to all proposals in Resolution 30/1, which includes the establishment of a hybrid court. Honorable Minister Tilak Marpana, during your speech at the Human Rights Council in Geneva, you stated that a hybrid court cannot be established within the government and that such an establishment goes against our federal laws. We thank you for making such a statement. However, Honorable Minister Marpana, in a twist of fate, the proposal brought up by the Britain says that it has been agreed to establish a hybrid court. The USA withdrew from the UN Human Rights Council, claiming it to be a refuse bid. There were plenty of opportunities to withdraw from the second resolution. On the 20th, the Minister of Foreign Affairs Tilak Marapana made a testament at the UNHRC in Geneva that Sri Lanka will not accept the resolution to establish a hybrid court in the country and that a hybrid court goes against the country's constitution. However, on the 22nd, the resolution that we raised our hands to as well states that we accept the UN High Commissioner's report. There is something wrong. A copy of the letter has been sent to the Secretary of the Foreign Ministry. A letter has been sent requesting to co-sponsor the resolution. So when such a letter is sent, the ambassador has no other option than to act in this regard. Now this takes place on the 25th. The High Commissioner's report will be presented on the 8th of April. The 14th of April will be the final date to submit the resolution. Now if we did not panic over this matter, we could have been patient and analyzed the report that is to be submitted on the 8th. Show this report to the President, and we could have informed other co-sponsored countries that Sri Lanka will not permit the inclusion of this chapter.
මේ ක්‍රියාත්මක පරිච්ඡේදය අපිට මේ විදිහට දාන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න බෑ.
මේ රටේ මූලික නීතිය උල්ලංඝනය.
They have agreed to this by violating the fundamental laws in this country. If so, can he not be held accountable for violating the basic laws of our country? Minister Tilak Marapana, who is taking this agreement forward, can he not be held accountable for violating the fundamental laws? This is a joke. On one hand, they present a resolution. The resolution that was presented in 2015 is submitted once again with 5 main countries. After submitting the resolution, we say we cannot agree to the content.
අපි එකඟ නැහැ.
Governor of the Northern Province, Suren Raghavan, speaking at an event held in Colombo yesterday, said that the High Commissioner had admitted that certain facts included in her report are inaccurate.
What happens during the council sessions is the High Commissioner reads her report. When we respond to this, we point out to her a number of inaccurate details mentioned in her report. For example, we condemned their presumption that the mass grave in Manna was connected to the missing people in Sri Lanka. So in our response, we clearly showed them the carbon test report. So we condemned that statement and we asked them to remove it. Thirdly, the citation in her report had come from the gossip websites. I said that this is not something that even an 8th grade student would do. So after we presented the facts on each of the points of the report, she said that there were many flaws in the report and that since she prepared a number of the reports regarding many countries and that she is personally not aware of all of these reports. At that point, she advised the 2 officials who prepared this report to be more careful when preparing such reports in the future. One of the officials who prepared the report is a Canadian national. He lives in Toronto, so we know where this connection comes from.
Now, who spearheaded the co-sponsoring of the resolution in 2015? The governor spoke on this matter as well.
As you may know, it was the then Foreign Minister Mangala Samaraweera and the US representative for South Asia at the time, Samantha Power, who headed this and co-sponsored this resolution.
The governor had also filed an application under the Right to Information Act to find out who drafted the 2015 Geneva proposal.
Who prepared this document when we co-sponsored in 2015? It was the then Foreign Minister that signed off on the agreement. I have filed an application under the Rights to Information Act to find out who drafted this proposal. One single person cannot perform a task like this. When such a document is presented to the international community, every word must be double-checked.
One of the main proposals included in the resolution is the proposal that a hybrid court or a court where foreign judges can sit and hear cases of alleged violation of human rights committed by the Sri Lankan military. At the 40th session of the Human Rights Council, Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana said there is no room for such a hybrid court to be established under the provisions of the constitution of the country. The questions that we are faced with then is, weren't they aware that this proposal is contradicting with the constitution of Sri Lanka? It is crystal clear that the constitution of Sri Lanka has been intentionally violated here. The constitution of Sri Lanka has provisions on steps that should be taken at the event of a violation of the constitution.
These are the views that were expressed by the Tamil National Alliance today at the Parliament.
We are of the stance that investigations need to be carried out for the war crimes. We had negotiations with President Mahinda Rajapaksa in 2011 and 2012 regarding finding solutions to missing persons. Mahinda Rajapaksa and his brother Basil Rajapaksa also had negotiations with us. Prisoners of war, prisoners who were released, 7 or 8 documents of fighters or liberation tigers were shown to us. Then Basil Rajapaksa said that Sumandaran and Suresh Premachandran can meet the prisoners at camps in Vaunia. But the army did not give them that opportunity. Military didn't give permission. At that point, the army had the list of all the fighters who were handed over to the army or those who surrendered. What happened to them? Families of missing persons are asking for answers. They were handed over. They had all the documents regarding that. If the resolution of the UNHRC are not fulfilled, we have no other option but to ask the international community to take action against the country similar to how they acted and responded when Mahinda Rajapaksa became the Prime Minister.
JVP MP Bimal Ratnayaka says that the Geneva resolution is being used for political campaigning by certain politicians.
For certain Sinhalese and Tamil politicians, Geneva has become their election campaign. Sivajalingam contested in the north, but they did not win. However, he has gone to Geneva now and are carrying out election campaigns. Racist singular politicians who were caught defrauding the stock exchange, who sent officers from the Civil Security Department to Ampara for election canvassing, are also using Geneva for their political campaigns. Many of them stole foreign funds. They do nothing to support the rural community, but they create havoc in March and September of each year.
Ceylon Electricity Board says that it will continue power cuts island-wide till a considerable rainfall is experienced in the hill country.
The Ceylon Electricity Board states to mitigate this crisis, emergency power purchasing must be carried out from private power plants. According to the CEB, at present the country's electricity demand per day has increased up to 47 gigawatts per hour. It adds that the warm climate could be shown as reasons for this increase in demand. Due to this issue, an additional 4 gigawatts per hour is required to meet with the demand for power supply. Currently, hydropower generation has been limited to 5 gigawatts per hour and thermal power has been increased up to 38 gigawatts per hour.
There is no proper generation plan since 2014. When the demand rose by 7.8% and when the supply cannot be provided, these issues become clear. These took place without anyone's knowledge. These are the sins carried out by others. Although several people say several things, we need a permanent solution. On the 29th in Parliament, there's only a short time. We are disappointed, but the problem is that this plan has an issue. We will find a solution to this.
After this
government was appointed in 2015, during these 4 years, they haven't built a single power plant after we built the Norochole coal power plant. Therefore, for this power crisis, the government is solely responsible, because every year, the electricity generation has to be increased by 6 to 8%. If 6,000 megawatts are not produced, then the whole country will be in the dark. It is unstoppable, but taking into account the government should have implemented a plan from 2015. Now the people of this country are in the dark for 3 to 4 hours. Today the economic growth rate is at 3%. If this continues within 6 months, it'll drop down to 1.7. Following the change in government in 2015, it was Ranjit Siambalapitiya who held office as the Minister of Power and Renewable Energy over the longest period of time.
The Symposium of the Self-Sufficiency of Buildings with Solar Energy in Sri Lanka was held today at the Hilton Residences in Colombo.
The event, organized by the delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka and Mittelstand Global, saw the attendance of many distinguished foreign and local representatives from the industry.
Well, in Sri Lanka, the continuous economic growth in the recent years comes along with increasing energy demand. The German government embarked upon in 2010, and which is designed to wean us off fossil fuels and nuclear energy and replace these with renewables and greater energy efficiency. Germany, although being one of the world's largest industrialized nation, is decarbonizing itself while the system is up and running. There hasn't been a single blackout, despite of all the critics. And in fact, Germany is still the country with the shortest power outage per year, with only 12 minutes annually.
Several panel discussions were also held during the event. The symposium will end on the 28th of this month.
The 41st Regional Cooperative Agreement was hosted in Colombo today.
The event was organized by the Sri Lanka Atomic Energy Board. The event was attended by Minister of Power and Renewable Energy Ravi Karunanayake.
If I may take a leaf from the sector that belongs into my ministry and our state minister, the power and energy, I do hope that the peaceful process utilized by the Atomic Agency can help us to develop cheap power from atomic resources. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka is too small a country to invest in this type of area, so your technical know-how and assistance would greatly be appreciated. These days, Sri Lanka is going through some bad weather climatic conditions. We normally rely very heavily on hydro, so thermal power is being used. But if we had the assistance of atomic power, it would have been useful. So I'm just only trying to address how each country plays pivotal roles in them. But we little Sri Lanka would love to learn facilitate from other activities and other areas that are there for a meaningful benefit of Sri Lanka.
Many local and foreign delegates also attended the event.
Deputy Minister Nalin Bandara convened a media briefing once again today to speak about the investment projects in Mirijavilla, Hambantota.
As per the proposal of Silver Park refineries day before yesterday, we were able to commence the basic activities of the $3.85 billion oil refinery project. The work is due to conclude in 44 months or 3.5 years. This is a 100% export-based refinery. By mid-2022, we will be able to complete this project. That is a lie. The investor of the cement factory is a Sri Lankan. He is a chairman of the Lanka Steel Manufacturing Company. Though they said the Marriott Hotel in Dubai belonged to him, it does not belong to him. There was a rumor that it was the money of the Rajapaksas. Rajapaksa money should be somewhere. I do not know where that is with Nandana Lukvithana. But Nandana Lukvithana is engaged in business since the 1980s. This government does not engage in business like how the Rajapaksas did. We are not obtaining ransom from businessmen.
මේ රජය කිසිදු ව්‍යාපාරයකින්ගෙන් කප්පම් ගන්නේ නැහැ.
The cement factory and the oil tanks of the oil refinery will be set up in the Mirijavilla export processing zone. When the EPZ is being constructed, an environmental impact assessment had been carried out for that. However, that EIA does not cover the refinery. There are steps being taken for this annexure. The officials are taking steps to complete a comprehensive EIA in 6 months.
ඒ සඳහා සම්පූර්ණ පරිසර වාර්තාව මාස 6ක් ඇතුළත අවසන් කරන්න අදාළ බලධාරීන් නිලධාරීන් කටයුතු කරමින් යනවා.
Silver Park International.
They give out 400 acres and said that this is the biggest investment in the history of the country. The company was established in June 2017. They said it even before the company was established. Now they have made a company called Silver Park Petroleum. But this company was established on the 21st of February 2019. Then the Singaporean company was registered in Singapore 4 months after you granted cabinet approval for this project.
මේ සම්පූර්ණ කරන්නේ බොරුවක්.
UPF MP Kanchana Wijayasekara expressed doubts as to the expertise of those involved in the $3.8 billion proposed oil refinery and cement plant. Here's the story.
Now they say it's a joint venture project with one Singaporean company that is backed by Indian group, which goes into agreement with the Oman Oil and Gas Ministry, the state itself. But last week itself, the Oman government rejected any investment or any involvement in the project. But then we saw the Oman Oil and Gas Minister arriving as a guest of honor or a chief guest at the function. But he never made a statement saying they are going to be investing in the project. So they're talking about $3.8 billion US, and you just look at if the company that has been awarded this has the capacity to invest this money, or whether that company has the experience of doing any.
Nurses attached to government hospitals across the country have resorted to a trade union action by reporting sick. The trade union action was launched by the government service United Nurses Union.
The trade union action that began today is due to last for 2 days. Their demands include a 10,000 rupee accident allowance and to increase their uniform allowance to 25,000 rupees. Patients who arrived for treatment at hospitals island-wide were left stranded as a result of the trade union action. The strike action was conducted at all departments except the emergency services at national hospitals.
I came here because there is an injection that my daughter must take. We came here this morning. Now they inform us that they are on strike. Now we are informed that there is a strike after we had already come here. We came here to get some blood. It was open in the morning, now it's not. My wife was to go in for surgery. We came here from Ambalangoda. She even dressed up for the surgery. They cut a ticket at about 12 noon today and rescheduled the surgery for the 7th of May.
This was the situation today at hospitals island-wide. However, services were provided as usual at a number of hospitals. According to our correspondents, nurses attached to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital, the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital and the Chilao General Hospital had reported to work today. President of the Public Service United Nurses Union, Venerable Murattettuwe Anandathera, however, said the strike will not be carried out at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children, Apeksha Hospital Maharagama, Lizoisa Hospital for Women and at special units.
Farmers who suffered heavy financial losses due to the Sena caterpillar menace staged a demonstration today opposite the Siambalandua Divisional Secretariat.
The demonstrations commenced from the central Siambalandua town and was joined by corn farmers from several areas of the Monragala district, including Kotiagala, Siambalandua and Athimale. These farmers claim that they did not receive any compensation for the financial losses they incurred due to the Sena caterpillar menace.
%100% will be paid during the first stage. We first gave compensation to farmers in the Ampara district. We then provided compensation to farmers in the Anuradhapura district. We will now provide compensation to farmers in the Monragala district. The second phase has already commenced in Ampara. On the 10th of March, the government gave compensation to 300 farmers in the Ampara district and promised to compensate all farmers who suffered losses due to the Sena caterpillar menace. However, only the farmers whose crops were completely destroyed were compensated. The rest did not receive anything. The compensation system is such that only farmers whose crops were completely destroyed due to the Sena caterpillar receives 100% compensation. Under this system, only 700 farmers need to be compensated. They must develop a system where every farmer will be compensated.
A group of councillors of the Southern Provincial Council staged a protest against the actions of the current government.
Southern Provincial Councillors Shammu Aryavansa, Aruna Gunaratna and Kapila Disanayaka arrived at the council with a group of their supporters. Security officers prevented the group from carrying a coffin into the chambers. Meanwhile, parliamentarian Piyal Nishantha arrived at Parliament today wearing a black scarf. He alleged the government had not done anything for the development of tourism in the Beruwala region, which he represents.
Bintara Beruwala is the heart of the tourism industry in Sri Lanka. 8 out of the 14 main tourist hotels in Bintara Beruwala have been closed down. Officials and politicians involved in the tourism industry are silent. I asked the Minister of Tourism to come here for 10 minutes and look into this matter, but he has not set foot in this tourism zone in 4 years.
Mentioning in more local news, another episode of the Sisudem 7 program was held yesterday at the Valsapugala KM7 Vihare under the auspices of the Deputy Leader of the UNP, Minister Sajith Premadasa.
This project was held in line with the program to construct 214 Dhamma school buildings at temples with minimum infrastructure facilities. The initial cost for the project is 400,000 rupees.
If there is an issue within the family or between families, the mechanism to solve this should be a peaceful one. You should be smart enough to find the solution. You need to be well-mannered. That is what Lord Buddha preached. Going to the temple and observing the 5 precepts for the sake of being a Buddhist would not lead to building a clean society.
Sri Lanka cricket. A payment of 4,594,756 rupees made to a singer for the Nidahas Trophy song. A payment of 1,343,200 rupees made to a female singer. A payment of 1,696,250 rupees made to 2 singers. What is the song that was created after spending over 76 million rupees for the singers alone?
That's all the news for tonight. Do take care and good night.